While at campus, students see life after school through different lenses. But what is life after campus? Students at Makerere University share their opinions about the subject.
My name is Bella Twine, and what I understand by life after campus is all the responsibilities pouring in. I'm no longer a child, I'm no longer being looked after by my parents, and I'm trying to have a life of my own, basically. I won't say it's flat, because I feel like there are very many opportunities for everyone, and there is room for everyone to shine, and there's room for everyone out there. So what I think is, basing on how I am standing right now in my current life, I believe that yes, I'll have challenges, but it won't be so hard for me because I have a starting point.
Me personally, it's all about independence after school. All along in our life, we have been staying under our parents, under their guidance. It means taking charge of your life after campus. It's a big responsibility. It's a very big responsibility. It is cumbersome. If you look at the way we have been going through our school, how tiresome it had been. And then after campus also looks something similar. It means you are getting to take control of your life, take control of responsibilities that come with you. No one is going to help you in that respect.
My name is Judy Nakawe. Basically what I understand from life after campus is, life in the working space. I get to think about how I'm going to be in the working space and how I'm going to use the different skills that I've acquired from campus in the working space to make journalism a better profession, or to look different from all the journalists that are around right now. And I also get to understand it as life, not expecting a lot from my parents, because right now, I'm home, my mom gives me everything, I call and she provides, but then it will be all about me, because life will be about me, not about my mom.
Okay, this question comes after me getting some advice. Okay, we have our doctor always advises us that we should always humble ourselves. A graduate should not look at someone in the village has nothing. You should humble yourself, greet people, talk to them well, work with them in case they need. Don't speak English when you know that these people speak Uganda and you also speak Uganda. So we should really humble ourselves. Those people who are down there are the ones who can, where our blessing can come from. And integrity doesn't mean that it doesn't come just because of how you dress smartly and maybe your books. It's about how you behave with people in the community. That's when people will realize that that person is a good person.
Every year, many students graduate from different universities and other higher learning institutions expecting good jobs in the job market. However, things have now changed, since it currently takes more than just a degree to find a job. Many of them before graduation tend to have big expectations, dominated with hopes that they shall have exciting life after campus, especially with good paying jobs and other social life. Let's hear from students what their expectations are.
In the course I'm studying, we are learning so many things. An example is fabrication. I can simply go and get small, very few machines, welding machine, put up there, put in a fabricator. People like you will need to make a door. You will approach me and say, hey, I've seen your signpost there, please. Do you know how to do this? So, in that way, I would have created a job for myself. So many people outside there who have a lot of money, but they don't know where to put it. So if you come up with a very good idea, you can actually get financed. And secondly, for me, I don't need that a lot of money. I can borrow a machine from a friend and say, "Ma, I have this work." And I will be given that machine and I will go and I do that work. First, like if you want to make a door, I will come and take the measurements. Then I will tell you, this is how much it will cost you. But can you deposit something? That is the source of my money.
For me, I'm a believer in God, and I know that there is time for everything. So even after campus, there is that time whereby you have to stay at home, and then there is time whereby you get that job. Of course, maybe your father doesn't have a company where you just go and he say tomorrow you go and work. No, it will take time for you to apply and to go through all those processes and then after get a job. So when you put yourself in a way that you are flexible, that you can handle at least anything that you see around, then life becomes so easy. Now for me, I'm ready to do anything that I'll find around. For the first few days I'll be at home so that I can see how to cope up before I get the job that the Lord has planned to me to have. Yes. My plan is to do, of course I have a home, or I have relatives, and even before campus, during holidays I've been working, yes, to get pocket money, to get something small. So the same jobs I've been doing during holidays, I can go back and do them and get some small money to make me survive after campus.
Oh, I mean, I expect to be one of the best producers around Uganda. Yeah, basically TV. Yeah, it bothers me because right now I'm not employed. I only lean on my parents for money to sustain me throughout. So it worries me for a fact that I really want to step out of home, but then I do not have the money. I mean, I don't think, however, I'm working hard to see that I get employed before I leave campus, but then just in case things turn the other way around and I don't get, employed before I leave campus, I mean, it keeps worrying me. How will I really sustain myself throughout? How will I reach my expectations? Because I really have a lot of expectations. I definitely wish to live like serious life, you know. Yeah.
I do not wish to go back to the village. It's not that I do not like the village, but it's just that the kind of the job I need to do, or the kind of the training I need to do, is going to be able to make me to stay around town. If I get better in what I do, then I can transfer this knowledge I have to the village. It's not that I do not like to go to the village, but it is better for me to stay around town to get all the opportunities that I can. There are several NGOs that I can apply to, so I can be able to get some money from them, which means if I apply, I work for them, they give me some money. That is for the start. But later on, if I have this money, I can be able to start something on my own. Of course, when I'm also working, I have to think about starting something on my own. You all know independence is not only from your parents, it also includes independence from the people who give for you jobs.
So I think you mean a cycle. So cycle of life after campus. On a daily, I think I'd want to like wake up, go to my communication workplace, because I'm going to do communication, and then after that I have a side business which I'm doing right now, so I'd like want to go there and check what's going on, if I have gigs, and then rotate, go back home. When I finish campus, I want to be able to travel the world. I want to go to Santorini, I want to go to Mombasa, all those good places that I've dreamt about.
By God's grace, some managed to achieve their desired expectations and plans. Stephen Mayombe of Recorded TV and Josephine Namakumbi of NBS TV narrate their story.
My graduation found me working, but how did I get it? I didn't get it through connection or anybody knowing me, but it was through an advert that was shared by Recorded TV online. And I sent in my resume, showing them what I can do, and I was invited, and through a concourse of over 25, I was selected to work with them as a news anchor, news reporter. You know, it is a thrill experience. It is something exciting, and also it's very exciting to get a job in your line of duty. That is, I studied journalism and communication at Makerere University, and yes, I'm practicing journalism. I'm living my life, my dream career, and I'm very happy because some of my friends who are equally as good as I am have failed to get a job, particularly maybe in mainstream media. Some of them are in business, some of them are in clothing line, some of them, are in the other side of PR, right? They studied journalism. So there's really so much. So I thank God that I'm managing to do what I studied, and in the end, very excited that, I'm living my dream career, but as well contributing to the betterment of my society by the power of journalism.
My name is Josephine Namakumbi. I am a journalist. I work with NBS TV, and I am a graduate of Makerere University, bachelor's degree in journalism and communication. I graduated in January 2020. But by the time I graduated, I had already started working in different media outlets or media houses. I started training and working with media houses when I was in my second year as a trainee at UBC. I also got training from Radio Simba. I also used to report for PML Daily. It's an online news platform. And I worked for HGTV, yes, before graduation. And then I worked with Star TV and anchor and reporter. And I left Star TV in March 2018. That's when I joined NBS as a trainee. And now I am a reporter and news anchor. I anchor Masengeje every Friday on NBS at 7 p.m. And I also anchor news on Mix Radio. It was hard to juggle work and school. I did my best. And by the time I graduated, I was already unemployed because I graduated this year. Yeah, it was a bit difficult because sometimes you're deployed for stories and you have coursework to hand in. I had friends with whom I could share notes. They could alert me if there is any test, or we could share the coursework, the questions, so that I do my work and hand it in on time. I had to collaborate with them by all means.
However, some of them failed to meet their immediate expected dreams after graduation. Hamza Semayengo narrates his hustle.
Sometimes I go and we do kind of bricklaying. Bricklaying, sometimes I find when they are done, they are just left with burning them. And now for us, we do make a furnace of it and we burn them. But in that, you may find that the work can take us like 5 days, but every day they are paying you some good money. They pay me like 10,000 shillings, or sometimes even above that, around 13,000 shillings. So being at home, I'd rather go for that work. Unlike some other students say, for me, I finish campus, I'll not go for such kind of work. But for me, I go for that because there is someone who told me, a person who has to be rich has to do every kind of work. So for me, I want to be rich. I just don't want to work for other people. So that's why I do all that kind of work. So that if I start my own businesses, I'll not find any kind of challenge. I'll be knowing the hardships in working. After that work, I continue with my life in town, Kampala. Just surviving, getting some food and some little money that can make me survive in town. Outside there, it's not easy to get someone to stay with. But when you are staying near campus, it's quite easy to get someone who's looking for a person to stay with. So that's why I always want to stay in that area where there are at least students looking for rooms for people to stay with, so that I don't get also that kind of challenges of paying rent. I am there just because of the little money I'm still earning. But after some time, I'll have to leave because that's not my destination. In a life, there are things that you have to be determined and focused. You find if sometimes I come back to the village, I want to save food, but as I'm saving food, I have also to continue working. Because when I leave town, that means where I've been working, I am no longer earning anything. So when I reach village, of course, there are a lot of ordinary kind of works that we do. People are digging, people have borders, driving, people are doing some small jobs. So for me, whenever I go back to the village, sometimes I ride a border just to make a living. I go to these people, I talk to them. When I talk to them, they are not hard on me because they know me. That's the first thing. They know me and they are friends. We are friends. So they give me borders. There is a way how we don't negotiate on the basis of that I'll be working for you, I'll be paying you a week, because they know I'm just a temporary worker. I'll not be there on the stage forever. So when I come, they know on that very day I has come, for him will give me any kind of money, any kind of amount of money he has got from, or we shall share the amount of money he has got in a day. The Electoral Commission is looking for someone to work with, maybe a display officer or a village election official. Sometimes whenever they could call me, or I apply. When I apply, because I have been working with these people for some good time, have that opportunity that at least I have some kind of appointment letters with them. Though they give me. When there is no border, there is no Electoral Commission, automatically I have to be in town. Because in town, at least there are some opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities compared to the village. So if I fail to get a border in the village, like for one day, automatically I will go back. I survive on the other little money that I'm getting, as I'm also away, trying to collect some little capital, or finding other things that can pay me some good amount of money if there is no such kind of opportunities. Because the other opportunities are just maybe being at home and dig.
Many people hustle fast after graduating because there are a lot of things to try out until one gets where to settle permanently, so as to define his or her future career. Hamza is among those that are falling prey towards this, but he is hopeful that any time he will concentrate on a clearer career than what he is currently struggling with.
You have asked me the same question my lecturer asked me, that do you regret as to why you have done this course? I don't regret. Reason is that this is a course where you are a job creator, that you can start up, you can start your own enterprise. Start with maybe around 1 million. You start small, but after like 2 years, you find that you are compared to a person who is in a big position in the government. Find that in this kind of course, you may start up a poultry project. A poultry project you can start with like 1 million, but in the first month it may not give you any kind of profit because you have just started. There are a lot of fixed inputs that you have bought at your project. But the second month you may find that you are getting a profit of around 300. The third month you get a profit of around 400. By the end of the year you find that you are earning 1 million. I am not regretting, because to those people that I work with in all that kind of ordinary jobs, you find that for them they see me as maybe I am a failure, or I have just gone to school for nothing. But what I do is just a survival. After a year, I have my plans. Maybe after like 6 months, because actually in this time of Corona, I was not expecting this kind of situation. But by June or July, I was expecting to start up my own project, to leave all those kind of works I've been doing, hustling around, toiling just to earn a living. I'm aiming at starting something small by the end of this year, because I graduated in 2020. So in 2020, by the end of this year, when I've left all those stuffs, when I'm doing something that took me to school. So that is it. I don't mind about how people observe me. If they observe me to be a failure, they will be the very people to witness after 2020. They will say, this guy, we've been hustling with him. And it will be a story to many, because it will show them that actually, if you go to school, that's the end of it all. You have to continue with life. This kind of ordinary work, small jobs, it's not for people who have not gone to school. It's for everybody to earn a living. But to a person who has gone to school, it is kind of temporary. But to a person who has not gone to school, it is permanent. I'm very hopeful that after like 3 months of doing this work, I'll leave it and I start something, or I get a better job somewhere that these people were expecting not to get. If you finish campus, don't sit at home. Do whatever kind of job. As long as you are getting something. You can even volunteer. But if you cannot volunteer, there are some small jobs. It's kind of heavy jobs that where you need to put in some energy to earn something. You have to sweat for these small jobs you do. And you are paid very little amount of money compared to the energy you put in. But because you haven't reached your goal, you haven't got that kind of that work that you are waiting for, you have to take up any kind of opportunity that comes around to make you live with these people. Because sometimes I have found a challenge that in the community where we stay, these people who have not gone to school, when we come back, there's a way how they feel about us. They think that we cannot also do the same kind of jobs that they do. They see us as we are kind of lame, that there is nothing we can do. We can only do kind of work that's kind of paperwork only. We cannot also struggle. We cannot manage with struggling in life. But actually, what I can tell you, if you go back and you do the same kind of work with these people they are doing that needs energy, time comes when they are used to you, and it also gives them something that actually we thought what we are thinking about it was wrong, that maybe a person who has gone to school, he cannot work. It gives a message to those who have not gone to school that actually even people who have gone to school can work.
Herbert Kamuga, a journalist working with the Nation Media Group, shares his experience on how he hustled with life when he used to earn only 20,000 shillings as a salary from his first job. However, he is happy that he is somewhere.
It was in 2015. I graduated so it was an institute. It's called the A1 Institute of Business and Media Studies. Yeah, like any other students, you always expect big. You have those big dreams. You know, when you go to school, you always dream of having a better job, a office job. That's what we always think. And I was expecting that after school, I'll have a very good job, probably journalism, because I was offering journalism. So I was expecting to have a big station where I'm working from, because I knew I had the capacity to deliver. As a journalist, I had tested myself and I knew my capabilities. I knew after school I would approach a big media house, they offer me a job. But from my school time, I was always dreaming of joining NTV. That was my dream. I was already working with a radio station. It's called Musana FM. I was working there, so I realized that for me to achieve the other big dream, let me first be contented with what I have. Because I had a small job, so I had to be contented. I had to work hard to prove to my listeners, to prove to my bosses that this is what I can deliver. This radio station that was operating within my area, so I went there and I said no, they could give me the opportunity because I knew I could. That's the feeling I had. I had trust in myself. I knew I could do it, so I went and approached them.
So how much were you getting?
Before you go to the salary, I had no money, but this employment was a bit far from my home where I was staying, so it meant that I had to go and rent. But before going for renting, I had to ride a bicycle on a daily basis. I was riding over 30 to 40 kilometers. I was riding a bicycle. Very early in the morning, I could ride a bicycle to the workplace, then I go back home. And it became so hectic for me. So what I decided is to permanently be staying there. So I had to rent. But even in renting, I had no money. I had to call my mother because I wasn't staying with her. I had to call her and borrow some money from her. So I borrowed 60,000 from her. I went, I got a house, I was paying 20,000. Yeah, it was very much. It was very much by that time. So I went and paid for a house.
How much was the rent fee?
The rent fee was 20,000 per month.
So you had a balance
So
of 40.
I didn't have a balance because I paid 60,000 for 3 months. Yeah,
And
so when
eating?
I could just gamble. When I went to the workplace, they were providing at least breakfast. They could give us breakfast. So when I made sure that I can find breakfast. So when I got the breakfast, lunch, I could gamble. So when I found that life was not so easy, the first month they gave me 20,000 as salary. Yes, 20,000. Can you imagine?
For rent, precisely.
For rent, precisely. So, and it was paid in the corridors. I wasn't paid from the office. The manager came to me, found me in the corridor. Go with this. I couldn't bargain because I knew I was just starting. I didn't have that moral authority to demand something big, because even my contribution to the station wasn't all that big. So they could treat me the way they were. By then I was doing news, because when I went there, they first put me in the news department.
How did you enter there? First take us to that situation. How did you enter there? Did they call you?
No, I told you I approached them. When I approached them, I wrote a letter and took it myself. You know, I was a very big fan. I was their very big fan. So after school, it was very easy for me to go and get a job from them, because they knew me personally. I was a regular caller. I could call regularly. So it was very easy. They could not, actually it was, I think they just feared chasing me. That's why they let's find something for him to do, and that's, I think that's why.
They never wanted to lose a fan.
Yeah, they never wanted to lose a fan. That's how they ended up employing me. From 20, I think it took me 3 months. I was getting 20,000 for 3 months. And
which year was that?
2011. Yes. So from there, I was working. First, I began with a program. They gave me a program. It was an evening show. I was doing it with 2 other people. One was called the Kanyande Kwe Super, and another one was called the Sewachidi Yanga Derek. So we were doing it in the evening. But I could go early in the morning, like I told you, to meet the other breakfast. So from that time till evening, I was
waiting for the program.
Waiting for a program. I couldn't do anything. I was like moving around here and there, trying to pass time, to make sure that by the time your program starts, you're ready. So I tried to make sure that at least I look for something. There was a school I went and applied. I was having the other employment. They were giving me 20,000, and I went to a school, a primary school. I applied to be a teacher because I needed some other money. I was not having lunch. I was not getting supper. So I had to try other ways of how I could survive. So when I went to the school, they gave me the employment. So from morning to up to lunchtime, I could be at school teaching. Then from lunchtime to the evening, I could go to the radio and present my program. They were not giving me lunch. I wasn't able to get 2 meals a day. If I was able to get at least lunch, then supper would go minus getting it. So I would eat lunch. I could even eat lunch at around 5 p.m. That would be my lunch. Yes. So that it could take me, by the time the night comes, I am not hungry.
Kamuga says what has kept him moving on is the content he got from class, especially the theoretical content that he has played around with, applying it on different things he has engaged in, such as photography, videography, designing, among others.
When I went to school, there is a course unit called video editing. We were doing it, so I learned how to edit videos. There was also another course unit for graphics. So I had some editing. I learned some editing, graphics, designing. So when I went out of school, I said, no, besides this little earning I'm getting, I need to start up something small that can top up on my salary.
Dr. Brian Semuju, a lecturer at Makerere University at the Department of Journalism and Communication, adds a voice to Herbert Kamoga's argument that theories are paramount in the job world, as he explains in the video.
First of all, I should say university is not built to give practical skills, which is why in some countries you have a division of teaching labor. You have institutions where people go to get practical skills, and then you have universities that are supposed to give theoretical skills, if such a thing exists. So when you come here, we are supposed to help you to connect, between the dots or to read between the lines. That is our job. My question would be to those people who claim we have not been giving them enough knowledge. My question would be, if they understood the existing knowledge, have they been able to add on to that knowledge? For me, that would be my question. I'm not going to, in fact, I don't even accept the challenge or the accusation that we give them theory. They didn't even understand theory in the first place. If they understood the theory I give them, they would have actually created extra theories, or they would have challenged the Western education that we give them to be able. For me, I would listen to someone who says, the education you're giving us is westernized. That is a charge I'm willing to accept.
Richard Kaira, a news editor at Bukede Print Department Vision Group, also appreciates the applicability of theoretical content we learn from class and therefore urges fresh graduates to apply them so as to meet their expectations in the job market.
The knowledge we acquire from school, does it matter? Yeah, it matters a lot. It matters a lot, and whereas there is that perception that when you go out there, it's quite a different thing altogether. But the knowledge you acquire here helps you to make a decision when you are in the work environment. And it helps to shape where you are going and where, let's say you are working on a story. The 5 W's and the H, they do matter. Yes. So there is no anything like what you learn in school doesn't matter in work environment. It does matter. You only need to adopt a few things. Like, for example, when you go into a media organization, every media organization has its style of writing. So in school you might be, you might have gone through a number of writing skills and styles and what have you. But when you go into a work environment, you need to learn the house style of that organization. And that is where the perception comes from, that what we learn in school is not what applies when we start working. But the basics remain the same. There are these other few things that change, like house style, the editorial policy, because you have to accommodate the editorial policy within the ideal world of the academics. Yes. So you need to think in practical terms and use the skills and the knowledge you have acquired from lectures and apply that knowledge in the practical work. The best way of applying the knowledge acquired from lectures to practical work is identifying a person at that work environment who you can pair with, and you get the experience, you tap into the experience of that person, and then you are able to apply the knowledge you have acquired from class.
Mr. Kaira also gives survival tips to graduates that can help them sail through the competitive working environment.
The world is diverse, and there are quite, there are a number of people with different perspectives, upbringing, and behavior. So you'll find people who will fight you because you don't have a degree and you have it. That is a challenge. But how do you work with those guys, those people you find there, who may not be, who may not be having the advantage you got of going through the normal schooling and finishing university. How you conduct yourself with them matters a lot. They can welcome you or treat you as a threat if at all you show off and that kind of stuff. But again, you have a lot to learn from them, even if they don't possess degrees, but they have been doing that work. So that is also important, and that is where some some fresh graduates go wrong. They start undermining the people they have been, they have found they are doing the same work. Yet they have to tap into what the experience they have, and they add that experience to the books. The tips I will share are on behavioral line. You talked about being patient. That is not taught in school, but it is a skill. You can talk about, the cordial relationship with the people you have found at the work environment. That is not taught in class, but it is a trait which is important. And we can mention quite a number. Asking where you need guidance, because it is not a crime to ask, but it is a crime to make a mistake when, if you had asked, probably you wouldn't have made that mistake. So those skills we are talking about are not, many of them are not learned in school, but we learn them through the environment of domestic environment, and these are the friendly environment we go through. But you need to expect what is within your reach. It will be unrealistic, for example, for an organization which is not making profits, and then for you are expecting a big salary out of that organization. So that means you are in a wrong place. So you need to, first of all, analyze the environment of the organization you are working with, and then demand for what is really realistic. It takes patience and understanding the work environment. Like, for example, I can point out that you need to add value on yourself. Despite the fact that you have acquired the qualifications, but you have to know that there are very many people out there who have the same qualifications. So what value are you adding on yourself after university? I can give you an example. When I finished university here and joined Makerere, I realized that I had limitations in computer usage. So I came back here to the university to do a certificate of computer applications. And it was a midnight program. So I would finish work at Makerere, then come to university at midnight. Then go through lessons up to morning, and then go back to Makerere. So that was the schedule which I went through for 3 months. And it was really a hard time that I had to endure, because I had to add value on myself, because I had the strength on the other side, but I had weaknesses as well. So you need to get to know your weaknesses, work on them, and you get advantage of others. The bottom line is mastering the art of your work and doing your work exceptionally good. So if you focus on that, every other thing will work out itself.
Many students who don't immediately get employed after leaving campus hustle with life to the extent that some of them even get stranded at their parents' homes. We have interviewed parents to share with us their motivation to continue paying huge chunks of tuition for their children to attain education in higher learning institutions, irrespective of increasing number of jobless graduates who hustle with life like villagers after graduating as if they never went to school. Let's listen to their opinions.
Why I decided to educate my children up to higher level is a person who is educated has a better reasoning capacity compared to one who is not educated. So a child stands higher chances of surviving and developing him or herself. However much they don't secure jobs, but they gain skills from education. Because of the knowledge and skill the children get from higher level, they become important. to the parent and to our community. Like I can give you an example. My child Chiseka, who graduated in 2018 as an engineer, he is helping the community, even is the one who constructed our house. And now that skill is still helping him to construct more houses because he's informed. So that's why it is so useful to educate a child up to higher level.
Why should I continue to educate my children and yet there is scarcity of jobs? To me, I have some reasons why I'm doing it so. One, education is an investment whereby each and everything rotates on it. Two, I graduate and also decide to join politics. Another issue, this is a modern world. The knowledge which is acquired enables the student or the graduate to make them fit in the society.
Ndi mukyala musomesa owa primary. Nze nandisigadde mbeerera omwana wange wadde nga abalala obalaba basomye naye nga tebalina. Nandibadde ngamba nti sijja kuweerera mwana kugenda waggulu, naye muweerera olw'ensonga eziwerako nti emirundi egisinga buli muntu aba ne chansi ye. Omwana omu asobola okulema okufuna omulimu n'omulala ate omulimu n'agufuna. N'olwekyo ekyo kinnyamba omwana wange okumukola ki, okumuweerera ne mwongerayo n'agenda wagguluko. Ate omwana asomye okweyongerayo n'agenda waggulu, takomye mu senior 4, takomye mu P7, omutwe gwe guba guyiiya bingi, naye mwennyini asobola okweyiiyiza omulimu n'agutandikawo okutuusa gwe yasomerera lwali gufuna. Ekyokubiri, ng'omuzadde era omwana owange bw'aba afulumye ng'amaze okusoma akyanoonya emirimu gibuze, sobola okumutandikirawo akantu akatonotono ate oluusi ne kaba k'amaanyi. Ne bw'omutandikirawo omulimu nga gwakulunda bulungi n'omugamba nti mwana wange nga tonnaba kufuna mulimu, nze kyenkutegekeddewo kye kino. Enkoko ezo oziraba, embuzi ezo oziraba, embizzi ezo oziraba, ky'oba okola okutuusa lw'onoofuna omulimu. Nkubiriza abazadde bannange nti twongere okuweerera abaana baffe, tubatwale ne waggulu, tuleme kubakomya ku leve ya wansi. Abaana baffe tubawe courage, soma kulungi.
But who is responsible for the hustle and the well-being of the students after graduation?
Is it the students?
Are parents responsible for this?
Should we blame the lecturers?
Is it the employers?
Or the government?